home getting ready to study for the next day's quiz, only to find mile-long lengths of information to be memorized. Well, this was me for my first Latin quiz. So what do you do if you're stuck there trying to make the next test day not terrible? You make yourself a memory palace. The memory palace technique, also known as the method of Loki, is an efficient way to maximize your memory. It helps you get the most out of your precious study time, and it increases your retention of information. Now, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but I have applied this technique during my study time, and I have the test results to prove that it works. So today, I'll give you a few examples of successful memory palace makers. I'll teach you how to make a memory palace of your own, and I'll show you how to use it. So if you're familiar with the work of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, or perhaps Benedict Cumberbatch, you've used this, or you've seen this method be employed on the streets of London solving crime. But this isn't strictly a work of fiction. In the 2012 journal Acta Psychologica, it states that the method of Loki is the process of imagining an intimate location and placing information at specific landmarks around that location. This technique, a favorite of fictional detectives, is also used by real-life memory masters, as well as the average student, to go above and beyond. So believe it or not, there is such thing as a memory athlete. These people compete in fast-paced memory competitions, doing things that we would deem impossible. According to the official USA Memory Championship, Alex Mullen, a memory athlete and med student, holds the record for memorizing a shuffled deck of cards in under 19 seconds. The same organization recognizes Nelson Dellis, another memory athlete, as holding the record for remembering the names and faces of complete strangers. How many did it take to claim the title? 235. But aside from becoming a memory master, this technique will serve you in your studying and in your lectures. Colette Silvestri, the coach of a nationally recognized high school memory team, noted in a 2017 interview with CNN that her students' grades and focus improved as a result of memory training. So not only will you remember what you studied, you'll have the stamina to get through more. A 2004 publication of Applied Cognitive Psychology says, quote, "People using the Loki method are at an advantage when the material to be remembered is presented orally," end quote. So with the Memory Palace, those pesky no recording policies and lectures are a thing of the past. So now that I've explained some of the amazing things that are possible with a memory palace, let's learn how to make one. The first step in creating this memory palace is choosing the location. Now, it's very important that you know this place like the back of your hand, so I chose my childhood home. But the aforementioned memory champ, Alex Mullen, also said in a 2017 interview with CNN that he uses the row house he lived in college. But just because you have a palace doesn't mean that you can put any information anywhere inside it. There is a method to this method, and that is numbering the furniture inside your memory palace. Now, this sounds super tedious, but these pieces of furniture are where you're going to be putting information later, so it's really crucial to not skip this step. Ron White, a memory expert, says in his Mind Palace tutorial that you should start this process by choosing 5 unique pieces of furniture in your first room of your memory palace. Once you've chosen these objects, you're going to assign them clockwise from left to right, the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you've memorized these assignments, you'll move to the next room and assign the next 5 pieces of furniture, left to right, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And you'll do this for every room of your palace. Now that we've meticulously built and numbered this palace, here comes the fun part, filling it. So according to White, storing your information is as simple as placing the first bit of information to be remembered on the object labeled number 1. The next bit of information goes on the object labeled number 2, and so on and so forth. He emphasizes that it's very important to picture the information with its object interacting as physically as possible. So for example, let's learn these Latin first and second declension accusative word endings. We have am, as, os, and a. So for me, I would close my eyes and I would picture my memory palace, and the first object is my front door. And I would see Pam Beasley from The Office tearing down my front door, like aggressively. She's kicking it in, it's splintering, the knob flew somewhere else. Pam Beasley is tearing down my front door. I would walk in and I would see the next piece of furniture, my bench. And I would see bass, like the fish, just raining down on this bench. Like you open it up and they're swimming inside. There's bass, AS, on my bench. I would go to the next piece of furniture and it's a table. And I would picture that it's covered in gum, chewing gum, like dripping all over. It's actually pretty disgusting. But the gum, is all over the table. I'd look at the next piece of furniture, a hat rack. And I would see my boss dancing with my hat rack. Like waltzing, slow dancing. He's kind of into it and I don't want to be watching. But like my boss, OS, is dancing with my hat rack. And I go to the last piece of furniture, label number 5, my stool. And I would see that it's covered in ants. Like the woodworking ants, they're like eating away, so there's sawdust everywhere. This stool is like covered in black ants, it's crazy. Ants on my stool. So if I need to remember these words in my test, I simply walk through and see Pam, A-M, at my door, the Bass, A-S, on my bench, the Gum, U-M, on my table, my boss, O-S, with my hat rack, and the ants, A, on my stool. So if this technique really helps you memorize, if it helps you get better grades, and it improves your overall memory, why aren't we all doing it? In a 2015 study, Jennifer McCobb, an MD at the Department of Psychology at Goucher College, she says that many students believe that there's just too much work up front. To that, I say, yeah, there's a fair amount of work up front, but the continual practice and use of a memory palace offers such a huge reward that it can't and shouldn't be ignored. Through the placing of data along a set path at pre-designated places in a memory palace, the amount of information you can retain is limitless. So whether you're thinking of becoming the next memory champion or simply want to pass a Latin quiz, the memory palace technique will help you utilize your memory to its full potential. Thank you.